Hello, good evening from my side. I'm coming to you from the UK and I'm live on Amma Manson's network. This is the Parenting Forum, and today the subject for discussion, I think I've lost it. The subject for discussion is how to relate with your child. How to improve the relationship with your child. So before I start, I would like to wish you, I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and you are still in a celebration mood. I hope you had fun with your friends and family and you're looking forward to the new year. Gearing up to the new year, making up all the plans for a wonderful year. So I'm going to start. The topic again is how to strengthen the relationship with your child. The most important thing in a child's life is to have a good relationship with the parent, the carer, anyone who is looking after them. Because a child develops mentally, neurologically from the relationship that they have with the adults or the adults around them, because they do copy from the adults. They do imitate. They learn everything they see in that particular environment that they are in. So children learn about the world through positive parenting. They do learn when the parenting is positive. And in negative, it does affect them in so many ways. So a parent will have to be positive. So whilst the reason why a parent needs to be positive is the child is growing and changing. The child looks to a parent to determine whether it's safe or not safe, whether they are secure, they are loved. They look up to all that. It is also the foundation that the parents set for the child that helps them to build up good relationships in future. So you can build a good relationship with your children or your child by being in the moment. You will have to be in the moment to be mentally aware of things going on around you in the environment that the child is. So you need to be present at all the time. As soon as you become a parent, you cannot have a divided attention especially when your child is young. So you need to be present and spend quality time with a child. Spending quality time means don't be distracted. Everything that you're doing should have a purpose, should be purposeful. You should be creating an environment that feels comfortable for the child to explore. I will elaborate these further. And there's no secret handbook to these kind of guidelines. These are guidelines that therapists have researched, they have assessed, they've put children in different environments and examined the kind of parent that are looking after them, the kind of parents that are taking care of these children. And there were different categories of parents. They have positive parenting, they have the look on, and they have the hands on, being involved in everything. So it is through these researches that these few guidelines have been aligned. So I will just go over about just 8 points as to what you can do, as to how you can create a positive and build up a quality relationship with your child. So I have done some notes, so I'll just refer to it whilst I'm talking to you. So as I said, it's not a guaranteed way of saying when you do this, definitely this will happen, because some children think differently. Some children need more work. If you are loving them, you have to model the love to them. If you're talking to them, you have to do a lot to them. There's parenting and there's parenting. If you are parenting a special needs child, it's quite demanding. It's very demanding as to how you do these parenting styles. Some of them you have to seek other approaches than the norm, that like just talking to a child, that might not be. Some of them you have to model them, the actions, what you want them to do and everything. So it's time consuming. So it's important your child to always improve the relationship. When something doesn't really work, you have to look at ways to change it. So let's say if your child is the kind that would want to be present when you are playing with them and not leave the toy with them, they want you to be there, and they keep calling you to come and engage with them. You need to take the time out. They are not the children that you can just drop the toy and leave. They are demanding your attention. Maybe that's the time that they want to be with you. They need the guidance and everything. So it depends on each child. So with people who have different children, tend to realize that children have different traits, different characteristics, and all that. So they know how to relate to each one in a way that they need. So I'll go to the points that I have stated here regarding how to strengthen the relationship with your child. The first thing that helps to strengthen the relationship with your child is to show your child love. Show your child love. You need to touch the child when they are upset. Hug them, rub their shoulders, show some empathy. Any form of love that you want to relate to the child, please do it. You show it if it's kissing. Oh, when the child comes and says, "I'm hurt, so sorry," you kiss the hand, you smile, you look at the child's face. They learn through all these things. So every child needs love and affection at every stage of life. They need reminding, constant reminding, even as adults in relationships. You always want your partner or your husband or whoever you are with to constantly show you that they do really love you. In that same way, it's a human nature. It's human response to touch and emotional expression. So you need to do that. And what I wrote down here, it says human touch and love is needed at every stage for every a healthy emotional and neurobiological development. So the touching and the kissing and the hugging is not just to show affection, but it's also good for the brain in the child's development. And it's important for your child to receive gentle, loving touch that is hug from you several times in a day. You know, when the child comes, you just express that emotion. You just hug the child. They shouldn't be asking for it first. You are teaching, so you should be modeling it all the time to the child. Use any interaction opportunity that the child comes to you to express some love, even if they haven't done anything. Some people only show love when the child have done something nice or they've done something that they didn't expect, and it's nice. It brings butterflies in their tummy. That's the only one time that they will express love. No, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing it all the time. Unawares, suddenly you give them a tickle, you give them a hug, and then when they come to you about anything, just look at them in the eyes and give them a warm welcome that you're happy to see them. So that when they are away for a while, they will always like to come back and see you. And just the expression on your face makes them happy. And it should be a positive expression on your face. So don't only show love to your child only when they've done something positive. Always show love to your child regardless. Sometimes they've done something wrong. It's good to also show love. Look at them in the eye and give a smile or a grin. And then with the expression on your face, you say, I didn't like that. You just shake your head. And don't frown or something. Still express love, and then maybe the correction can come later. So giving eye contact in showing your love, you smile, and you encourage a honest interaction. So that's the first one under showing love. Then you have to say, I love you often. I love you often. It is often implied that we love our children, but you have to tell them every day. As I said, relating to adults, you also want to be told, I love you every day, even when you haven't done anything wrong. And imagine yourself being told, I love you. It just puts some butterfly in your eyes. It puts a smile on your face. It brings some warmth in your heart. So just think about it, that's the same thing that you are relaying to your child. Yay, I was expecting Nancy, and I've seen a sign of her coming in, and I'm excited. I wouldn't be alone. Oh, it went away. I hope she's able to join. So, saying I love you to your child. You can say I love you to your child when they've done something wrong, especially the young ones. I love you, but that doesn't make mommy happy at all. Mommy is very sad, you know. So that gives the child some time to pay attention to you. You've said you love her and you're correcting her. It makes her pay attention to you. It doesn't make the child shut down and not want to listen because you have said sometimes when they do things and you are angry, they shut down and they are not listening at all. So by being open and expressing the love to them, they kind of feel, I know they feel ashamed. They are like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I don't want to upset mommy or something like that, or daddy or uncle or something. So you need to, saying I love you is very important, not only when they've done something good. So the I love you should be said to a child, no matter their age. As I said, adults even like to be told I love you. Even when as I said, even when your child is being difficult or does something you don't like, this is an excellent opportunity to remind them that you love them unconditionally. A simple I love you can have a major impact on them on your long-term relationship with your child. So that's saying I love you unconditionally. Even when they've done something wrong, you need to say I love you. And then you set boundaries. You set boundaries. Number 3, you set boundaries, rules and consequences. So children need structure. They need guidance as they grow and learn about the world around them. So you talked to your own children about what you expect them and make sure they understand. These days, I always say they understand and comprehend what you are saying. So when rules are broken, you make sure to have an age-appropriate consequences in place and be consistent with them to learn more about the age-appropriate consequences. You have to, let me give you some points. You will have to put the rules. Every home have rules, and it says age-appropriate. So there is the naughty step for toddlers. There is the confiscation of banning of favorite toys, and then there is I think getting to the teenage years, you don't allow them to go to certain places they really love to go. Now there is technology, and no matter the age, if you put the phone rules in place, it's like their whole world is turned upside down, even adults. So yeah, the phone ones can also, the timing, taking the phone away or totally or for some time is also a way of putting rules when the child hasn't followed the rules of the household to get them in line. So you have you set the boundaries, and then you let them know the rules, and then you know what will happen when they don't listen. So that is the setting boundaries. Then we go to number 4, which is you learn to listen. And hello, hi, Lady Nika. Hello. Merry Christmas to you too. So Lady Nika, thanks for joining me. You can ask any questions. Thanks for being my company. I appreciate that. So we are discussing the subject of how to strengthen a parent-child relationship. So we've mentioned 4 points. I'm going to the 4th point. So the first point was show your love. The second point is say I love you. The third point is set boundaries, rules, and consequences. And then the 4th one is listen and empathize. So how many of you create friendships without listening to the person? Listening is very important. So if you listen to your child, you pay attention to their communication. You know, even with babies, most parents, when they are babies, we find children fascinating and they go ba ba ba, and you also imitate, and the child gets excited and keeps on and keeps on. You can realize that some kids, when you see them and you do that communication aspect with them, anytime they see you, they are looking to you to create some form of conversation. Everybody likes to be listened to. Everybody likes to be paid attention to. And everybody likes to be understood. Okay, so if a child is doing something and is communicating and it's not even right, you listen and then you empathize and you communicate whatever you want to communicate positively to the child. Remember, we are not doing negativity. No, we're not going there. So you listen. Listening and empathizing means you listen and then you acknowledge your child's feelings. You show them that you understand. You reassure them that you are there to help them in whatever they need. You try to see things from the child's perspective. Remember last week, I was talking to you about how to talk to children that they will listen. And this aspect came in, and as far as understanding the child's emotion and going down to their level, to that emotion, that's how you would understand the child. So you go down to their emotion and to their level and speak to them. You have been through whatever they are going through. And just take yourself back to that time when you went through that thing. And you, by all means, find the words to deal with them. Don't be in a rush. Just calm down and talk to them. So by listening and empathizing with your child, you will begin to foster some mutual respect. Some mutual respect. If you usually do this with your child, there is no anger, there's no battle going on. From what I have listed earlier, you are not showing anger, you are loving, you are listening, you are communicating. It's very, very loving. It's the same as adult relationship as well. But sometimes we tend to forget, we think these kids are young, they know nothing. No. It starts from this age. This is the foundation stage. So that is where more attention has to be paid to the communication style, and also more time needs to be spent in the communication because you are building a character. You are building up someone that can easily be communicated with. And there's also the number 5 point is you play together. Play together. Play is very, very important in a child's development. And for me, I'm so keen about playing with a child, maybe because my child is on the spectrum. When you buy a child a toy, they will try to explore. The toy is set up and they will play along and they will know how to play with it. With a child on the spectrum, whatever comes to their mind, that's how they will act to the toy. So you will have to really guide them and show them how to play with a toy. And by playing with a toy, let's say for this afternoon, for instance, I just bought a trace a VTech ball game for my son, and I fixed it up. All he was interested in was dismantling it, but I fixed it up and I sat down to show him how to play with it. So when you put the balls in, it goes in several places. All that he was interested in was dismantling it. And when I showed him and I was doing the signs, ooh, it's gone here, it's gone there. And then he got interested in it. And he realized I was excited. And so he got engaging in it. So it's not like you've just bought the toy for the child to play with it and not have any interest. You play with a child with a toy and express to the child why you bought it for them. If it's not them that choose, even if it's them that chose it, just show some interest in it. And then it causes some form of conversation with you, when they'll be seeing things that the toy does, and it does this and it does that. And they like to communicate with you about it, and you have to show them excitement. There are different forms of communication. You can express that with a child whilst you do that. So playing together is important for a child's development. It's a tool through which children develop language skills. So, as I said, there are so many things that a thing does, especially if your child has problem with speech. And then you say, press, go, wow, look, it's beautiful. With all these things, you are doing it, you're doing facial expressions, you are showing your emotion. The children pick these things up when you are doing it with them. So be cautious. Use the opportunity of play to teach your child stuff. So you express emotion, and then you foster creativity, and then they learn about social skills, about how to communicate with people, about how to react when things happen, about how to do so many things. Because whilst you're playing with your child, they are watching, and you need to ensure that you model good things, so that, because with that back of your mind, you know that they are picking these things up. It's a lot of work. It's not easy. Additionally, it is a fun way to strengthen your relationship with your child. It does not matter what you play with. It could be paper. There are times that these bubble wrap that they wrap around gifts. Yeah, you pop, pop, pop. And sometimes when you receive Amazon parcels, they are the big ones. You put them down and then you try to step on it to make noise. It goes, ooh, this is noisy. You do all that, the child picks it up. So they are learning about stuff as well. The key is just enjoy each other. Remember, you are trying to build up, strengthen a relationship. Strengthening relationship is making sure the child listens to you, making sure that when you call the child wouldn't be like, oh, why is she calling me again? the child would be excited to come because they know there's something exciting going on every time. Or they want to see you each time you call them. So enjoy each other and commit to giving your child an undivided attention. And that is difficult in this day and age because of phone. You get distracted with the phone. Ensure that when you are playing with your child, your phone is off. You put the phone away. These days, it's either you or the child who will be looking at the phone because it's a technology age. But the technology doesn't help to build relationship with your child. If you've realized, if you give your child tablets, phone, and whatever to play with, they don't focus on you. You are not, they don't relate to you. They don't want to have anything to do with you. The characters on the phone are more important and interesting than you. You don't want to do that. Now it's difficult for parents because they will have to compete with the cartoons and all those things on the phone. So for me, I have tried so hard to take the phone off my son for a long time. And these days, he gets it as a reward. It's either when I'm busy or when I am talking to somebody or I have something doing that I give him the phone. So for instance, this whole day, he hasn't had any tablet. It was only when I was coming on here that I gave him the tablets. So, and it's tough if you've engaged your child with the tablet for a long time and you don't have rules and boundaries and timing, the way they act when you take it's as if they are going to die. Yeah, my son, especially on the spectrum, he acts as if the whole world is coming down. But you have to ignore it. I've said he understands, but sometimes he fights it a bit. And I can imagine with other kids in your homes how they react when you take away the phone. So the phone boundary is something that the phone rules is something that parents need to go back to and work on it if you want a good relationship. The fact that your child is on the phone and when you call them, they are in a hurry to want to go and leave. It affects them. They can't concentrate on schoolwork and everything because they are always wanting to come back to the phone for entertainment. And the phone thing is entertainment for the child, and it should be limited. The timing should be limited to only when you are busy, but the rest of the time, you have to create the time. I understand that parents are also busy. You have so much to do, and there is alternatives for things. But there's also homework. There's also activities. There's so many things that you can buy. When you take the phone away, you should ensure that there are other things that you can provide to the child to play with than to always focus on the phone. So you have to commit to giving your child an undivided attention. Put the phone away. Put it on silent somewhere. So, and how long do you play with your child? It doesn't take more than some children, it doesn't take long. It might be short intervals. For me, I play the children, depending on their age, their attention span is very, very short. So the maximum of 15, 30 minutes maximum. And with children on the spectrum, they easily lose interest. So you can make it, some kids, even if you get 5 minutes playtime, you've achieved a lot because they are on the go. So make it short and sweet and exciting, but you divide it throughout the day. You divide it playtime throughout the day. So maybe before breakfast or after breakfast, you play once. And then maybe lunchtime, now that they are all holidays, you divide it 15 minutes short or 30 minutes. You play with a child, do something exciting, sometimes conversation, watch pictures, and do so many things that you can do just to create that interaction with the phone off, everything away, to create that bond that you want to create with your child. And then there is also, after playing with your child, I think I've spoken about this, is be available and distraction free. So setting aside 10 minutes to talk to your child without distraction can make a big difference in establishing good communication habits. So in the day, maybe school day, before they go to school, everybody is in a rush. We are going, do this, and it's instruction mode. Do this, do that, do this, do that, and that is not a good way of communicating. The child feels overwhelmed by that. So if you could do, I don't know how possible it is, but if you could do a few 5 minutes, how did you sleep well, breakfast time before they go to school, whilst you're making breakfast, you ensure they are all sitting there and you're able to talk a bit. When they come back from school, how was school, when you pick them up, without distraction. These days, you see people, when they pick their kids up from school, it's walking back home, they are on the phone and the child is trailing behind or ahead. And there's not that time. Need to create time. You can make a big difference by establishing good communication habits. You need to put everything out, as I've said earlier, and you spend quality time. So the idea is you are making your child a priority. Let the child understand that they are a priority to you, regardless. Sometimes you are busy doing something and the child wants your attention and you are like, no, 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 no. But let them understand, or sometimes stop everything and listen to what they want to say. And if it's something that needs sitting, you make them understand, okay, I'll make time for us to talk about this. Create that time. Let them know you value them, that they are a priority. Whatever they have to say is valued to you. So, and the other one is, the next one is eating together as a family. So when you are seated around the table, and again, the other thing is phones off. There are places and families now that have no rules of no phones around the table, no phones around the dinner table. So because that's the time they can all gather and have see each other. And it's a perfect scenario in many homes these days. All the kids go away with their phones, they are on their tablets, they are in their corner. It's only when food is ready. So you can create this into your routine where it's food time, everybody comes in, phones are confiscated, put away. If they wouldn't, that's true. If they wouldn't listen, just turn off the Wi-Fi. You just turn off the Wi-Fi, everything goes poof. You don't talk. So when it's dinner time, you, the parents, or whoever is providing the meal, is calling the kids, and you call some of them and they will never show up. And the most annoying thing is when you've done, some will be delaying their meals after you have done and tidied up, and then they will come in and leave their plates and everything there, So you don't want that. It's setting the boundaries and the rules. Remember, we've spoken about that. So you make the rule. There's a bowl. Some people have a bowl or they have a bag or whatever. Phones off. Sometimes you don't need to. You just bring the bowl and everybody puts their phone and their gadgets or whatever in, and then they sit at the table. It's supposed to be off, and then they discuss this. So now Life Nugget says we have that rule: no phones or books at the dinner table for all in the family. We respect the rule because we've had an agreement on that. It's perfect. It's amazing what it does. And, they all become present because they've lost something they value for that moment. And they all become present in there, and you get to chat. And, that thing is getting lost in relationships and in families when people gather these days. For me, I am fan of being a person that you call me and you can never reach me. It's because I've left the phone somewhere. I've forgotten about the phone. So I miss calls, I miss so many things. And when I come back, like I have a phone time to respond to everything at one go, and if you are working, you are supposed to have that kind of rule. You get home, you have that rule. So Life Nuggets, that's a very good rule. If you don't have it, it's difficult to start, I must say. And you have to be very firm. As Life Nuggets said, they discussed it and they decided to do that. And you have to let your children know you want a quality time with them. You want to know what's going on with them. You want to have that relationship, and that's why you're doing that, and they would understand. So it's good to improve your relationship in that way. So meal times, when you encourage them, you also talk about, it's an opportunity to teach them about eating, how to eat properly, how to eat healthily, how to eat concentrating on the food and the mannerism and everything. Sometimes because of this phone thing, even eating properly, talking without no food in your mouth and paying attention is no longer something that is being thought or learned. So it's an opportunity to help them. So a balanced diet affects a child's mental health. If the child is not eating properly, they are not healthy, and it affects their mental health as well. So you incorporate this, and it's helpful. And then you also create a child-parent ritual. So if you have more than one child, try to make a point of spending individual time with each of them. Quality one-to-one time. And make it the ritual. You know what each child likes. So you spend making it a ritual. A child says, oh, I like to play football with dad, or I like to play this whatever game they want to play with mom or with this person, maybe even with siblings. Creating that time, or creating games that you do together as a family. So it becomes a ritual. I'm sure that this Christmas, a lot of families have done a lot of games and bought a lot of games and played together. I remember growing up playing back in Ghana, playing Owari. That every home had Owari, or Ludo, or Spa, or this, this carries that you turn. And people used to play with pens, and then they do alikoto. I remember that's how they call it. You do it. And I used to do that with my mom. She wouldn't actually she would just be sitting there, and there were evening times, we have storytelling times, and at the same time my mom didn't know much, because she said her growing up they didn't tell Anansi stories because they were um, lies. So it teaches the child to lie. So she didn't, but our neighbors did that. That's a ritual. The adults meet and then we do that. So yeah, it's spending quality time with each individual. So each child in a big family with other kids likes something that they would like to do. So maybe it might not be every day, it might be any other day for each particular child. So each child knows which day is theirs, and you know what game you can play with them. So Life Nugget says, when we start working on this improvement, it could feel awkward, but keep communicating to your genuineness. It later becomes natural. Yes, yes. It's like anything that you learn. It's like anything that you want to improve yourself upon, you know. And when you start, you just put the points down. If you have a big family, maybe two, three, not two, three, maybe 4 kids, 3 kids, just notify what each child likes, or you ask them if they can write for something. What would you like to do, or what do you like doing? What do you want to do with mommy this week, or something? And like most kids do complain about the times that they don't get with mom. The topic is we are improving our relationship with our child. So if you want to improve your relationship with your child, you ask them about what they would like to do with you, or you suggest to them what you want to do with them if they like it. If swimming classes or extracurricular activity that the child wants to do, you take them. That time is your one-to-one time with the child, and that's the time that you ensure everything is on. If you go to swimming classes with your child, the time that you're going and everything, you do the communication there. When the child goes in the pool, you are on your own. And that's the time that maybe you can be on your phone. When the child comes back, the phone is put away. On your way back home, you have that rapport, the one-to-one, the quality time you spend with your child, and they get that thing from it. So you can make a timetable, you can have a diary, you can have a list of things, and each child can, on your board, know what they can do with mom at a particular time. So that's one-to-one time strengthens the parent bond. It improves your child's self-esteem and lets them know that they are special and valued. I always say the emotional aspect is, as an adult, if someone gives you that same respect, communicates to you, listens to you, spends time with you, how do you feel? You feel valued, you feel loved, and that brings out the best in you. It brings out the joy in you, and you always like to reciprocate that to the person. So that is why it is important to do this. Don't look at your child that your child is young and all that. No, look at your child as a fellow human being, but small. And also ensure that this human being is going to grow, and I would like to have a long-term relationship with them. And when they go out into the world, I want them to represent me and the family in the way that is acceptable. So if with that at the back of your mind, you know that it's a lot of work. but you also have to put the fun in it. You know, the fun will come from your child exhibiting all the good things, the relationship, the communication, and everything that comes with it. So please do find time and do that with your child. So as I said, it builds their self-esteem, it builds confidence in them. When they go out, nobody can intimidate them because they know they are valued. They can express themselves in ways that people can't imagine. They will impress people. And again, let them know, some parents schedule special date nights and their children to create one-to-one opportunity. Yeah, I've spoken about that already. A trip to the playground. Some parents have Friday movie nights. The child chooses the movie and they all watch. It is important you all watch, you stay engaged. I know it's difficult. Some parents might doze off, but you know, because you set this up, you would have to stay up and let them watch and watch fun programs. So I don't know how many people are watching. I would appreciate some questions. I have a few minutes to go away. So yeah, this can be very, very tough for parents with children on the spectrum because they are normally the ones in control. They like to control the whole situation and everything. But what I like to do, life nuggets, the children feel valued when they are prioritized. When you prioritize them and they behave better and achieve according to their potential. Exactly. You said it all. They behave properly. Because you've modeled some of these things to them, you'll be surprised, and it's amazing. It's amazing for parents who think that their children are too much work or wouldn't understand things. I'd like you to know that some parents wish their children could engage with them, but their children do not have the ability to do that. Some parents wish their children can talk back to them, can argue with them, can communicate with them in any shape or form, but their kids cannot do that. So you are blessed if your child can ask you questions and they can engage with you. You can have a banter with them. But because you are taking them through this relationship, that banter wouldn't have to be insults. It wouldn't have to be accusations, and because you've modeled a good thing to them. And they will be like your friend with respect to you, with rules in place. Some parents say my children are not my friend. No, relating like that to them doesn't mean that they are being your friend or something. You want to create, they are more than your friend. They are more than your friend because you love them dearly. They are the mini yous. I'm sure most of you parents do see yourselves in your kids when they do so many things that you don't like. And it makes you laugh. You've already got where they are coming from. And for me, that's fascinating to identify that in my child, that this is what I used to do. So this child is trying to, it excites me, So please make sure you do strengthen that relationship by doing these few steps that I've spoken about. With parents with kids on the spectrum, you need more time. You need more patience. you need a heart of gold. You cannot be upset, because whatever you want to do with your child might not be able to do it. Your child might not be able to play with toys when you come up with them, and they might just be there, and you have to be playing and sampling it with your child, and that dissuades most parents from doing it. But they do learn. Yeah, you have to hold. When my child was younger, I used to hold his hand to pick toys and do this and do that and do that, and with time they pick up. If you don't do that with them, their brain doesn't develop. It's one step at a time. You might not realize it, but it does work. So Life Nuggets is asking, how can parents or adults help a child who feels that he or she is not doing right, thinks negatively of him, of herself? Well, you, the parents, must go back and try to remind yourself what has caused this child to have this thoughts in their mind, or have this behavior, or have this image about themselves, And as an adult, you will have to speak to the child empathetically, like going down to their level. First, you need to understand why this is happening. It might be from school that somebody is said something about them. It might be because they are trying to, in a particular course, they've tried to learn over and over again, and they are not getting it, they are not understanding it, and it pulls them down. It might be if you, the parent, realize that you've always been saying things negatively. One thing that we haven't realized is insulting the kids, talking negatively against them, being upset unnecessarily. Even if your anger is right, you should find a positive way to make the child understand why you are against whatever they are doing, and then show them the right way. You could have done it this way. You ask them, why did you do it this way? And you ask them. You always try to put the power in their hands. For a child like that, they feel their self-esteem is reduced. So that might be they don't feel listened to. They don't feel that much attention is given to them. They don't feel valued. So you have to work on these things. Ask the child. Investigate why this is happening. And don't be angry. Create a conversation with it. Put yourself down and give an example at times that you felt that you weren't doing things right. And it's also, we have to be honest and tell the child that it's not every time that you can do everything perfectly. Whatever you do should be acceptable. You cannot be perfect. How is the thing wanted? Did you get to the mark? You did get the mark. What is the fail mark? It's 40. And you got how much? You got 50. Well, maybe let's say it's maths. I hated maths. So if I realize my child doesn't like maths, I'm like, I would put myself in my child's shoes and say, well, please, you didn't do well. Okay, we can help you here. What don't you understand? Let's help you. get to the high mark. Well, I didn't do well in maths either. I found it difficult, but I tried my best and I was able to pass my exams on maths. Or I failed and I had to resit and pass again. But you are clever. We know you can do it. You know, the encouragement, you need to encourage it. So this child needs a lot of encouragement. He needs a lot of acceptance. He needs a lot of motivation. And parents, be vulnerable to the child and don't let them feel like you are beating them down all the time. Go down with them and gradually lift them up from whatever pit that they find themselves in. And I hope that answers your question, Life Nuggets. And my time is up. I will see you again next week. Maybe with the rest of the crew. Today, I was expecting Nancy, but she was stuck in traffic. She didn't turn up, so I've done this by myself, but we will continue to do it. They might have exciting points to also add some other time. So with that said and done, Happy New Year on Sunday. We ask that the Almighty blesses us all with wisdom. We don't know everything, you know. And all these things are things that people have practiced. And we are experimenting. So don't give up. Try them. Try these points. Try them consistently. Those that help, you can adjust it according to your child, their understanding, and according to the rules of your home, and it will be helpful. Have a gracious and blessed 2023. May your year be wholesome. May your year be prosperous. May your year be full of love in you so that you can spread it all to your families. Take care and have a good evening. Bye.